boy, I cannot wait to enjoy some of my favorite Girl Scout cookies, Samoas. Wait, is it all toasted coconut? Well, it's not really what I wanted, but looks like I'll have to make the most of this. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cooking Corner with me, Giuseppe CrimiVaroli. It's summer and I'm starting to feel the heat. So I'm going to make you feel the heat in your kitchen with this Jamaican jerk salmon with a coconut cream sauce. Now, in terms of ingredients, you're going to need the following. You're going to need sweetened coconut flakes. You're going to need sour cream. You're going to need 1 lime, zest and all. You're going to need cream of coconut and mayonnaise. You're also going to need 1.5 pounds of salmon fillets. We'll cut this up into fillets later. And finally, you're going to need some Jamaican jerk seasoning. Now you can use store-bought Jamaican jerk, or I can show you how to make it yourself. Now, if you're going to make your own Jamaican jerk seasoning, you're going to need the following spices. You're going to need crushed red pepper, paprika, cumin, cinnamon, onion powder, garlic powder, parsley flakes, dried thyme, cayenne, nutmeg, ground clove, ground allspice, pepper, salt, and sugar. Now, in terms of hardware for this recipe, you're going to need the following. You're going to need a juicer to juice your lime. You're going to need a small bowl to make your spice mix in. You're going to need a small pot to make your cream sauce in. You're going to need a few measuring spoons and a measuring cup. You're going to need a microplane and a sharp knife. You're going to need a tablespoon. You're going to need a small to medium cutting board. And you're going to need 2 baking dishes, 1 large, 1 small. As always, folks, step number 1 is going to be wash your hands. So go ahead, turn the water on, stick your mitts underneath, get them nice and moist. Once your hands are all wet, feel free to apply some soap. 2 squirts is my preference. Rub that soap all around, get in between the fingers, get on the back of the knuckles. Once your hands are nice and soapy, stick them back under the water, wash all that soap off. When you convince your hands are nice and clean, you can turn the water off, flick your fingers out, grab a towel, dry your hands, and we're ready to cook. Now, right after you wash your hands, it's a good time to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Moving on to step number 2, and step number 2 is going to be prepare your salmon. Now, what we have here is 1 big 1.5 pound salmon fillet. We're going to cut that into 4 pretty equal salmon fillets. Then we're going to coat them in mayonnaise and sprinkle our Jamaican jerk seasoning over the top. Now, when you're cutting your salmon, you should always cut with the grain, same as woodworking. So, take your sharp knife and cut your salmon into 4 fillets. Once your salmon fillets are all cut up, you can transfer them to your big baking sheet. Now that your salmon fillets are transferred to your baking dish, it's time to coat them in mayonnaise. So, you're going to take 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise and coat your 4 fillets. Now that your fish is all mayonnaisey, it's time to add your Jamaican jerk seasoning. If you haven't made it, now is the time to make it. When you're making your Jamaican jerk seasoning, you're going to need to add a tablespoon each of garlic powder, and onion powder. Next, you're going to need to add 2 teaspoons of cayenne, salt, pepper, dried thyme, and 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now you'll need to add 1 teaspoon each of ground allspice, a teaspoon of parsley, and a teaspoon of paprika. You'll need a half teaspoon each of nutmeg, ground cloves, crushed red pepper, and cinnamon. Finally, you'll need to add just a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Once you've got all your spices in your bowl, you just need to mix them together. Now that you've got your Jamaican chick seasoning, you can sprinkle it over your salmon. So just get a teaspoon of seasoning and sprinkle it over your fillet. Once you've seasoned your salmon fillets, you're ready to move on to the next step. Once our salmon is thoroughly seasoned, it's time for step number 3. And step number 3 is going to be cook your salmon at 350 degrees for 18 to 22 minutes. So go ahead, open your oven, stick your salmon fillets inside, and we'll check these bad boys in about 18 minutes. Now, while your salmon is in the oven, you can move on to step number 4. And step number 4 is going to be toast your coconut flakes. So you're going to need about 2/3 of a cup of toasted coconut flakes. So go ahead and measure that out. Once you've measured out your coconut flakes, you can just sprinkle them over your small baking tray. Once your coconut flakes are on your tray, you want to disperse them so that there's not any big clumps and so that they fully cover the tray. Once you've got that set, you can throw them in your toaster oven or on the top shelf of your oven and let them toast until they're golden brown. It's important to keep an eye on your coconut flakes while they're toasting because they burn very easily. So you should devote all of your attention to the coconut flakes for the few minutes that they're toasting. Alright, these coconut flakes are looking golden brown. Let's take them out of the toaster oven. These are looking delicious! Now, while your salmon is in the oven, you can move on to step number 5. And step number 5 is going to be make your coconut cream sauce. Now, into your small saucepan, you're going to add 1/3 cup of sour cream, a teaspoon of lime zest, 1/4 cup of lime juice. Now, if you're using fresh lime juice, 1/4 cup is perfect. If you're using pre-bottled lime juice, however, 1/4 cup is a bit much. So I would dial that down to maybe 1/6 of a cup. And finally, add 1/4 cup of cream of coconut. Once all of your ingredients are in your saucepan, turn the burner to low and slowly stir until they're combined. coconut cream sauce is all combined, it may be a little bit thin. If it's too thin for your liking, you can add just a pinch of cornstarch mixed with water, and that should thicken it up over low heat. Alright, so it's been 18 minutes. It's time to check on our salmon. Whew. That looks and smells delicious. It looks like it's done. So let's move on to the last step. Now that your fish, flakes, and sauce are done, it's time for the final step, which is going to be plating. Now, to plate your dish, grab yourself a spatula and put some of your salmon on a plate. Once you've got your salmon on a plate, just spread some coconut cream sauce over the top. And sprinkle it with some of your toasted coconut flakes. And just like that, you're ready to enjoy. Now it's time for a little taste test. That was delicious! That concludes this week's spicy episode of Cooking Corner with me, Giuseppe CrimiVaroli. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I certainly know I did. If you like this recipe, leave a like on the video below. If there's something you want to see on the channel, leave it in the comments and I'll try to make it for you. If you like videos like this, subscribe to my channel. I'm putting out new content all the time. Stay cool in this summer heat and bye-bye now.